The Dreamcast. Sega's swan song in the console market was home to some beloved games like the Sonic Adventure series, the Power Stones, Shenmue games, and one game that was sort of a continuation of Sega's flagship RPG series on the Genesis, one of which that was considered by many to be the birth of the console MMORPG, Phantasy Star Online. With its frantic action, simple controls, and tons of secrets, along with the fact that you could play with gamers all over the world and have your text auto-translated into the appropriate language, PSO was a bona fide hit. After receiving an update before the Dreamcast's demise, it was a given that the series would continue on the next generation of consoles, one of those being the Big Green. With more modes, weapons, items, and an all-new episode to play, is Phantasy Star Online even worth your time? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's boot up the game and give it a go. Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that. You may notice that it says Xbox Live required to play on the box here, and you'd be forgiven if you thought that was just to play online. Turns out the Big Green version also needs a gamer tag to play it offline. Why they did this, I don't know. It's pretty stupid considering the GameCube version you can play offline without any credentials. So, yeah, it looks like I can't review this version. Sorry guys, looks like the video's over. Well, that's what I would say if not for the miraculous powers of the internet. As it turns out, there is a modded version you can play on a modded Xbox that bypasses that whole pesky gamertag business and lets you play the game offline. So, without further ado, let's get down to business. In the future, after the planet, presumably Earth, is destroyed, its refugees, now living on giant ship colonies, begins the Pioneer Project, sending probes across the galaxy in search of a new home. When the planet Ragol is discovered, Pioneer 1 is sent to explore and investigate, resulting in the terraforming of a new home. 7 years later, Pioneer 2 finally arrives at Ragol, bringing the rest of the colonists. However, as they try to establish contact with those living on the planet, a massive explosion occurs, severing communication with those on Ragol. From there, the principal of Pioneer 2 sends you to investigate the colony and find out what went wrong. The plot of PSO is pretty basic and nothing new when it comes to RPGs, but as you progress and continue to find data logs left by one of the main hunters, it starts to suck you in, especially when you get to the shocking twist near the end. And that's just episode 1. Episode 2 takes place after a certain time from the first, with your hunter being sent to Galdeval Island in search of a military commander who was presumed to be dead when on assignment there. Again, it's also nothing new, but still just enough to keep you playing through to discover the conclusion. As stated earlier, PSO is an action MMO where you complete quests to earn experience, money, aka Meseta, weapons, armor, and more. Something very similar to Diablo. You begin by creating your character, choosing your gender, which slightly affects your stats, your race, either the all-around human, the magically inclined Newman, and the android-based cast, who, while they can't use magic, are physically stronger. Finally, you choose your class. There's the hunter, who excels at close range and melee weapons, the ranger, who is better skilled at long range and guns, and the magic-based force. For this review, I'm sticking with the tried and true hunter. Then you finalize your character's look, and off you go to Ragol. After you speak with the principal, you can explore around the lobby of the Pioneer 2, where you can stock up on weapons, gear, and items, deposit or withdraw your Meseta and items at the bank, accept side missions at the Hunters Guild, or just go ahead and head down to the planet's surface to begin the main story. Down on Ragol, the real fun begins as you make your way through the areas, slaying monsters, opening doors, and collecting loot until you reach the boss. Once you defeat these larger-than-life foes, you'll be rewarded with some epic goodies, depending on your level of difficulty. Speaking of loot, PSO has an insane amount of items your character can equip, ranging in variety and rarity, including sabers, swords, daggers, handguns, partisans, rifles, shotguns, wands, staves, and more, as well as armored shields and mags. Mags are these little robots that follow you around that assist you by boosting your stats and can unleash a powerful photon blast. Similar to a digipet, in order to make your mag stronger and evolve into newer forms, you feed them items. Finally, there's techniques, or techs. Essentially the magic of PSO, techs are strong elemental attacks that can become more powerful by obtaining stronger versions that, while most classes can use, are better suited for the casts. For the most part, PSO has always been simple to pick up with gameplay that has aged somewhat gracefully. Sadly, controlling your character is not as fantastic as it once was. To be fair, it wasn't that perfect back then either, but it definitely hasn't aged well at all. Attacks are done with a combo style, meaning you can do a light, heavy attack, or 3 heavies, 3 lights. The mix is up to you, as long as you get that button pressed down correctly. While this has always been a fun mechanic, not having a proper lock-on will cause you to miss your target quite a bit as you swing yourself past said enemy as they gleefully get some pot shots on you. It also doesn't help the fact that because this is pretty much an upgraded port of a Dreamcast game, controlling the camera is still done by pressing the left trigger to reset it behind you. However, as I started playing through this again, the controls started to feel like riding a bike again, and I was getting used to it once more. Since the right stick can't be used for a camera, it has a just as effective function, being another way to move through the menus while you're still moving in real time. Again, if you started your PSO journey by playing PSO 2 or even the Universe series of games, then it's going to feel awkward playing old school PSO for the first time, but stick with it, it does get better. Also, something I had to learn the hard way, play through the side quests at the Hunter's Guild if you're playing solo. I had always played this game with others, so I had a team to help me out through the tougher obstacles. So when I started playing single player for this review, I tried my old tactics from the Dreamcast days, and got my ass handed to me rather quickly. It wasn't until I played through the side quests that I leveled up more and earned enough cash to buy what I needed to survive, and was able to continue on. Sadly though, after a while it became more and more apparent that even though you can play offline by yourself, PSO was a game designed with a party in mind, and just going through the dungeons solo becomes, well, at least to me anyway, very boring and, well, lonely. Not having teammates by your side to help attack bosses or revive you if you don't have escape doll handy is sorely felt. Lastly, here is where I'd like to talk about the different modes, of which there were a few, like Battle Mode and Challenge Mode, but those were online only, so all we have to look at is offline modes with the option to play Episode 1 or 2 first. On a positive note, you can play the story mode with up to 3 other friends on split screen, which is pretty cool. Visually, PSO's graphics are a more cleaned up version of the Dreamcast original, which to me is perfectly fine, as the original looked awesome. Still does in my opinion. The planet Raggle has an amazing diverse selection of environments, ranging from lush and tropical jungles, dark underground caverns, and ancient temples in decay. Also, even though you only get to explore a small fraction of it, the Pioneer 2 looks like a mix of Blade Runner and the Casino Night Zone from Sonic. The characters all have that anime space look that, while not bad, might be a little too much to some. I gotta say though, the monsters in this game are really damn good looking, going from typical bugs and beasts, dragons, to some out-of-this-world creations. On the audio side, the music is some of Sega's finest, with an awesome blend of orchestrated and electronic music, which really complements the look of the game. The lobby menu theme is one of my personal favorites. There really isn't any speaking or voice acting in this game, save for grunts and monster noises, but really it's not that big of a deal. So here we are. The big question. Is Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 worth playing today? And my answer is no. At least not for the big green. While it's a fun action RPG, especially split screen with friends, the fact of the matter is you need a modded Xbox, or just be one of the smart ones who save their live gamer tag to a memory card just to play it. My recommendation is to just pick up the GameCube version to play split screen offline without needing Xbox Live, or even the Dreamcast version, as you don't need to mod either of them to enjoy it. You could even go the route of the PC version, as all of these ports, in one way or another, can still be played online today via private servers, and really, playing with a group is how this game was meant to be played. But why review this version, you ask? Well, besides it being on the system I decided to go through and explore its library, I guess this isn't so much a review as it is looking back at one of my favorite games growing up. Yeah, the series has moved on to other systems and versions, and in 2012, Sega released Phantasy Star Online 2 in Japan, with the US getting on board about 8 years later thanks to a deal between Sega and Microsoft for PC and Xbox systems. Even just recently, at the time of this video, a new revision, expansion, side game thing called New Genesis was released worldwide. But no matter what new PSO type games come out, I always go back to the first time my friends and I fought that first dragon and seeing one of them charge headfirst only to die in one hilarious hit. And that's all I need to know, that Phantasy Star Online is a timeless classic. Okay, that's Phantasy Star Online, episode 1 and 2 in the books. On to the next game. So with that, this is the Dali Popka, and as always, stay green, my friends. I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode and want more of me and the Big Green, then click that subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new content arrives. I want to say a special thank you to my patrons for helping not just the channel grow, but me as a creator. You have my forever thanks. If you're interested in the channel and would like to help it grow further, consider becoming a patron today. For the cost of a soda or an item on the dollar menu, you can help myself and the channel provide the best source of Big Green programming and more. Once again, all the thanks and love.